Hi, and welcome to the Father-Daughter Experience. I'm Cesare.
And I'm Celia.
And today, if you can't tell, we're going to be talking about Halloween.
Why couldn't they be able to tell if they're listening just to the audio?
Well, I know that sometimes people only listen to the audio and they don't look at us. But today we are dressed in our not necessarily our Halloween best, but we are wearing orange. We're wearing ghosts and goblins and haunted things, and we're ready to talk about Halloween.
Well, I'm wearing red, but maybe you need to get your eyes checked.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm wearing orange, and it's vibrantly orange, so we're digging it. So today we thought we'd talk about a couple of things. We thought we'd talk about candy, and we thought we'd talk about costumes as it pertains to Halloween.
Halloween.
And I always find these really funny. We found a couple of lists of like the top candies that come, I guess, around Halloween. And I think the number one candy I've seen in a couple of different places are Reese's peanut butter cups. And so how do you feel about that?
Fine. I think they're good. I can't have too many of them though in a row. I don't think they're a very good bulk eating candy.
They're not a like sit there. They're not sort through your candy and eat them all.
They for sure are. When I was in high school, I would like buy a bag of like the pumpkins from Target when I worked there, and then I would just like eat them in my car. And there'd be like 10 wrappers on the ground, and you'd be like, I can't believe I just ate 10 of those. And then you feel sick because it's not a good like.
They're very dense.
They are, and I think they sneak up on you.
In terms of like, oh, I just ate a bunch of these and now my stomach hurts.
But I love, here's the thing, a regular one on Halloween, boring, uninspired. A pumpkin one.
You like the shaped ones.
Yes, and then in Christmas, it's the little trees.
Oh, that's true.
So
that is very true.
Yeah, I like them, but in October, they better be fun shaped.
So with peanut butter cups for me, I am one of those people that is of the unpopular opinion that it's just not my favorite. And I think my problem is, and this is going to be nowhere on a candy rank, which I think is a huge travesty. But your mother and I, but specifically one of the things I like are the Take 5 candy bars, which are essentially peanut butter cup-esque with pretzels and like all of the things all together. That to me is good.
Already going off list. We have got 10 of these to get through.
Yeah, but anyway, I understand why peanut butter cups are number one. We started number one. We didn't go the 10 down to one. But
that's not my number one.
What would your number one be?
Candy corn.
You're putting candy corn as number one. Is it because it's themed Halloween-ish?
Yes.
Or because you can just pound like
it's
a whole bag of it?
Well, you can't because it's waxy, but it's delicious.
Right, but you would eat a bag of it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just have like 2 pieces of candy corn and be like,
well,
that was
perfect. We were going
perfect.
to go through our list and rank them 1 to 10.
Of our own? I think we go through the 10 and then I think we can judge on top of it whether or not we agree. You're going to do your top 10?
We should have agreed on this before, I guess.
Yeah, anyway. All right, so let's just keep going down the list. So number 2 on the list of best candies is Twix.
I think Twix is not very good.
I think it's boring.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a left Twix or a right Twix. I feel like...
I know, in that gimmick, I'm like, okay, who cares? Just... Also,
our
the
candy
left
hates
and right was like a sneaky way for them to just put one stick in a package.
For a while.
Instead of 2. No, they still do it.
But it's one bigger one.
No, they're like the little baby logs in like the Halloween candy bags.
Oh, yes. They do in the Halloween.
Now they're like, it's the right log. And you're like, okay, well, where's the left one then? I want one of both.
My problem is there are better.
I mean, I like the crunch. Little crunch.
Sure, but there are better caramel candies and there are better crunch candies. And
Sure.
Like number 3, Snickers.
I don't care for Snickers.
My thing is Snickers has done a great job of positioning themselves as the candy bar where it's just like, have this and you'll feel better during your day. It's candy that it's like they're trying to do it. It's like it's candy to like curb your hunger because they're like, we put so much shit in here. There's like, oh, there's peanuts and that makes it healthier as a chocolate bar. But I will say I'm guilty because there are times where your mother and I we're out on a road trip. I stop at a gas station and I'm like, I'm a little hungry and I'm not going to get like a corn dog from 7-Eleven, but a Snickers bar sounds pretty perfect. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of chocolate. So I kind of feel like Snickers should be higher, but I understand for Halloween reasons, you may trade up, right?
Mhm.
You may be willing to trade off a Snickers bar for
Something
another
else,
peanut butter
for
cup.
sure.
What's the next one? Number 4.
Kit Kats. I like Kit Kats. I like them because even in the mini version, there's still 2 for me to snap apart. I love a gimmick.
That's true. They are. I think I think my favorite thing about Kit Kats now is when you see people on the internet where they're like, "You're an absolute monster if you bite into a Kit Kat bar,"
yeah.
where like you bite into all 4 at once.
Well, because oftentimes Kit Kats, I feel like are the candy most prone to melt together from the time that you get it to the time that you're probably going to eat it, especially the mini ones.
Sure.
So then people are like, "You're a psychopath," and I'm like, "How else am I supposed to eat it? It's just a bar of chocolate."
Now it's fused.
Right. So
But
I'm
you're saying once it's fused.
Okay.
I'm saying once it's crisp and
What
clean.
if I rip it in half in the middle, but like not horizontally?
I think if like when you see like the frozen,
right down the center.
I think when you see the frozen ones where like if you put them in the freezer or you put them in the fridge so that they're cold, and then you just rip it open on the corner and then just bite through like 3 pieces, that's just a savage move.
Who's putting them in the freezer?
I put a lot of chocolate in the freezer.
I know. It's because you're trying to hide it from your wife and daughter.
I am also trying. We also live in Texas, where it's like
No,
where your mother
no,
your mother keeps it 75, 80 degrees.
You're a little fiend who's hiding your chocolate away, and then you'll just be like, you'll smugly eat it in front of us, and we'll go, "Where's some for us?" And you'll go, "I don't know, there ain't any."
The problem is your mother grew up in a household where if anything was left out, somebody would eat it, whether it was your grandmother, your grandfather,
Sounds like a mom
your
thing,
uncle.
not a you thing.
No, it is. But what I'm saying is if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So then you can get it when you absolutely need it. Like nobody needs chocolate every single day. But if you had a bowl of candy in your house, if you had a bowl of candy in your house, you would have a piece of candy every single day.
Yeah.
That's why people don't have bowls of candy in their house unless they're old people, and then it's candy no one wants.
Unless it's those little strawberries or a Werther's Original.
Yeah, nobody. Well, I mean, a Werther's Original is
nobody
good, but nobody likes
those?
those. Nobody likes those strawberry candies. Those are so weird.
Right here. I do.
Yeah, you're weird.
You're rude.
I don't know who raised you. All right, so number 5, Butterfingers.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, but they're also a melt-prone candy, and those ones are harder to eat because of like the flaky crispiness. So I feel like if they're melted, I'm like, I'm not gonna bother with. Like if I open it up and I can tell it's been melted, I'm like, nah.
You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I
think they're pretty good.
I
don't think I wouldn't if I was at a candy store like or like a grocery store and I'm looking at the candy aisle. I don't think I'm ever picking Butterfinger first. I don't think I'm ever like,
oh, Butterfingers.
yeah, ooh, I want that right now.
Well, before you were born,
Yeah.
Butterfinger's big push was they got Bart Simpson to be a big like Butterfinger spokesperson, and nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger. And even then, I just was like, yeah. I mean, I'm a kid, and I'll listen to cartoons tell me what to do. But I was just like, no. I feel like also Butterfinger are a better Halloween candy than an everyday candy, because if you have it in a bag of Halloween candy and you pull out a Butterfinger, and again, it's one of like the small like little 1-inch ones, you're like, oh, this is perfect.
I'd eat that.
Yeah, I don't want a whole one.
No.
Okay, number 6.
Crunch.
Oh, a Nestle's Crunch Bar.
See, yeah, I feel like you like those.
There are times where, kind of going back to what you said about going to the Twix, there's something about the crunch. It's the little Rice Krispie pieces in there. If they are Rice Krispie pieces or they're puffed rice.
I don't know what they are.
I think it's puffed rice.
For sure.
Crunch bars are good.
I agree.
I think they're good.
Again, not a candy I'm seeking out.
What's actually really funny is when you think about it from, I think you only like a Crunch bar for the crunch, because the chocolate to me, here's the funny thing about Crunch bars. They very quickly turn to like dust in a bag. If you have a Crunch bar for too long, like you'll notice if you have a bag of Halloween candy and you leave it for like a month, by the end of November, if you pull out a Crunch bar, it won't have melted so much as it like desiccates like a corpse. It basically like turns to like this grayish, dried out. I'm telling you, I'm getting a nod from the gallery. Your mother knows what I'm talking about. But basically, they dry out, and then you realize, I don't know if a Crunch bar actually tastes like chocolate.
Okay,
they're weird. Next one we've got is Mr. Good bars.
I don't know what those are.
They come in a yellow wrapper. They're another candy bar that has like peanut, and I think there's nougat in it. This is like one of those candy bars that just seems to have stayed around for a long time because like somebody just forgot to cancel making this candy bar. Just like, I don't know why it's a Mr. Good Bar. Why it's not just Good Bar.
Oh, you know what? I have had this before.
You had to look it up.
Yeah.
Scrolling on her phone right now just to see what this could potentially be.
Oh, I have to be honest. Oh, I do like these. I do like these.
I think I
like them because they come in. It's literally showing me right here.
Are they coming in the little gold nugget packages?
Yeah.
That's how you've had one, right? You haven't had one as a candy bar. You've had one as like the Hershey's mixed.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Yes, in the.
Let me see what you're looking at.
Hershey's miniatures chocolate candy 29 piece that you can buy in bulk.
Oh, see, Crackle is in that mixed picture.
That's what I'm saying. This whole thing, it's Crackle, chocolate and crisp rice, Good Bar made with chocolate and peanuts, special dark Hershey's.
Well, this is interesting because
mildly sweet chocolate and then regular.
Number 8 on the list after Mr. Goodbar is Hershey's. And I feel like plain Hershey's there's only one thing they're good for. S'mores.
I agree.
Correct.
Or like, again, it's funny. Maybe it's like a situational thing. I feel like I was a lot more into candy when I worked like retail because it was like a treat I could go get like on my break and stuff. And now I just don't feel like I get like candy very often. Unless it's like a novelty thing. It's like Hershey's. Like I would get like a Hershey bar when I worked at Maurice's.
I feel like they're
from like the vending machine across the way.
I will say that when I travel and when I fly, I have a tendency that I will go buy a bottle of water. I'll be in like the little shop at the airport, and I'm always tempted by some form of candy or chocolate. And I'm like, you know what?
That's me, but with coffee.
The snacks on this flight are going to suck. I'm going to want something. Maybe I'm going to want something sweet. Maybe I'm going to want something salty. So like I end up like picking up snacks, but that's probably when I'm most likely to buy a candy bar.
Yeah.
I'm not as susceptible as when I cash out at Target, right? Like I'm not going to be suckered into buying, they have all the candy out. And here's what I find really funny. So as a kid, when you would go check out or you would walk through a grocery store, they were always full.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this is necessarily a pandemic thing. I don't know it's just our grocery stores, but I routinely, like when I check out at the grocery store, we just don't have like a full stock of candy. Everything's always missing. We have a guest. We have a guest
Mr.
host.
Leo has come into the recording room.
Yeah, he's very lonely on a Sunday morning.
It's like nobody loves him in this family. Anybody else have a cat like that?
Yeah, desperate all the time.
I'd like you to not.
Okay, so number 10 on this list that we found.
Over number 9.
No, I didn't. I did.
You sure did.
I'm sorry. Tootsie Rolls and flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Okay, the flavored ones are good.
Like, what do you think? What are they flavored? Are they like
grape, cherry, banana?
I don't know.
Melon.
I say no.
Okay, I like those. I think the plain Tootsie Rolls are disgusting. Let me tell you why. I think the worst thing that humans have ever come up with in terms of Halloween stuff is those like litter box cakes where then people turn the Tootsie Rolls into shit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, isn't it so funny? You're eating shit.
You're eating cat poop.
And you're like, I guess this is the peak of Midwestern senses of humor. You're shit eating. That's so funny. Oh my God. And it never looks good and people never eat it. That's the thing.
No, nobody wants to scoop.
No, that's my thing. Every time even they're like, well, it's a brand new scoop. And I'm like, I can't. I have a cat. I'm not going to get over the association of using that spoon to scoop shit for my real cats. I'm not going to eat your dessert. Put a real spoon in there. Also, it never looks good. It just looks like dust.
Yeah, because it's just crumbled up.
In a litter box.
It's just crumbled up cookies, right?
Yeah, and like other stuff.
I don't know how to do it, but
poop in it.
I don't know. Yeah, why you would make anything that looks like shit?
Why would you do that?
Why would Why would you do that?
There are other funny things you can like make. Like there are other funny, gross things you could make.
Well, segue very quickly. Don't Hershey Kisses essentially look like shit? They look like the poop emoji.
I mean, I don't agree as much there.
But I'm saying, like, in terms of the shape and the size, but
sure,
they aren't made to put into a litter box.
I'm not looking at a Hershey Kiss and being like, that looks like a poop dollop.
Right.
But I am looking at a Tootsie Roll and thinking, I bet some Midwestern mom is about to put that in a litter box in a few weeks for her kid's party.
Okay. So no to Tootsie Rolls unless they're well, yes to Tootsie Rolls if they're flavored. No if they are
Yeah, those like random ones that
if
feel
they're
like
original.
they just show up. Like I don't know where you buy them when it's not Halloween time, but they feel like they exclusively show up.
Dental offices,
Yes,
hospitals.
literally in like any place you're probably ordering like from one of those like bulk retailers that'll like sell you stuff.
They have a bag. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
the
they've
bag
got
of like
a bag of
1,000
them.
pieces of
Mhm.
candy. It comes
Like
with like the
random
double
Tootsies.
bubble that has like no flavor
Yep,
bubble gum.
absolutely.
So number 10 on the list that we found of most popular Halloween candies are Baby Ruth.
I gotta look this one up too.
It's again it's just
I think
another.
I have had it before.
It's a white labeled candy bar. It usually comes in like 2 pieces. It's again just I feel like so many of these candy bars are the same. It's just like chocolate, nuts, nougat, other
Isn't
shit.
Baby Ruth what the monster in Goonies wants?
Sloth.
Sloth.
Yeah, baby Ruth. Yeah, it's how they bond. It's how they make friends. But it also like when he feeds it. But
to
also,
be honest, I don't know that I've ever had one of these.
I don't know if
Even
I've had
these-
one
even
either.
These fun-sized ones.
No, I know that they've been around forever. I don't know that I've had one.
No.
But so here's what I would say. Looking at those 10 things, what do you feel are being omitted here? Like what is on your list that's not in this top 10?
Candy corn.
Well, obviously you said candy corn is your number 1. What other candy is missing from this top 10 list?
I guess this isn't just like a general candy thing, but all I kept thinking about is whatchamacallits.
Oh,
When
sure.
I was younger, I was really into those. When I was like in middle school.
I kind of feel like I remember finding those wrappers in your
everywhere.
room, like
everywhere.
under your pillow.
Yeah. Probably.
I'm surprised there's no Almond Joy on this list.
I'm not an Almond Joy girl.
Do you not like coconut?
Correct.
See, now that's a problem because Mounds, Almond Joys have nuts. Mounds don't. Mounds are also dark chocolate.
Yeah, I don't like any of those.
I like both. So I was surprised those aren't on this list. As far as candy goes, what else do you think is missing?
I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't feel like in my head like
When you would go into a candy bag, see, because like I'm surprised
yeah, but that's what
for
I'm
a
saying.
Halloween
You
bag,
know, like
Smarties.
Skittles.
It's weird that Skittles and
Smarties.
but I'm saying in terms of what when you open up a
Okay,
Halloween
yeah,
bag,
yeah.
what you're gonna
I feel
get.
like Skittles are missing M&Ms. Those little M&Ms. Oops, those little M&Ms packets.
Right.
I
This
feel
is
like are missing.
it's kind of strange. These unless they're all going like candy bar off this list, but it wasn't a very specific
But
list.
then
that
why
we
would
found.
Tootsie Rolls be in there?
That's very
Not
true.
that those are a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like any of those little or Fun Dip. Talk about something that tastes like nothing, but like little like we'd go feral like when we'd do candy trading as like a kid, and if you had like extra Fun Dips, it'd be like, all right, what do you want for the Fun Dip?
I'll give you anything.
I'll give you anything you want
It's
to
the
get that
unfair.
Fun Dip.
It's the unfair trade-off.
For sure.
I don't know. So I mean, we definitely. The last time I went trick or treating would have been on our recent trip to Disney, which we will talk about in a different episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the candy options we were given from Mars, who was the sponsor there, we got shortchanged. Not a lot of great candy in that bag.
No.
Lots of weird M&Ms. They're like weird M&M flavors, and then a bunch of other kind of junky candy. But like you said, not necessarily the kinds of things that you would want or then like would want to trade for.
Right.
So this is a good place to, I think, transition. So we talked about like we recently went to a Halloween party. We recently dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think another thing that we're going to talk about is kind of like the idea of like Halloween costumes and like when you come up with your own, what are neat ideas for costumes? What are some of your favorite costumes that you've had? So before we get into kind of like what some of the top costumes are for this year, what would you say are your like your three favorite Halloween costumes that you've had?
That's a good question. God, I have to think about it. I think I actually have a list on my phone of every Halloween costume I've ever done.
Do you want me to give you one of mine?
Yeah, you go while I try to find this list.
So we had some neighbors when we lived in Minnesota, and they were crazy Halloween people. Like they spent a month putting their Halloween decorations up, and then they had a big Halloween party every single year. Those were probably our first forays as adults into really getting back into Halloween costumes. And one year, your mother and I essentially did a corpse bride and corpse husband.
Yes, that was
And
really good.
It was great. Your mother did a great job with our makeup. What we both basically did is we both found outfits that we weren't going to wear anymore. I had an old suit that was like an old pinstriped suit, and it had kind of like a chalk kind of a chalk pinstripe, so it looked great. I took some flour and kind of like doused it on the suit so it looked dusty, and then I basically tore it at a lot of the seams. So the shoulder was ripped, so it was kind of falling off. It looked kind of wrecked. I kind of took a knife and scraped the like cut the bottom. Your mother took it, like had a dress on that was old for her, so we just made that like look dirty. We kind of rubbed dirt on it. So I think that was one of our more fun years where we realized like going with like a coupled theme costume can be super fun.
Yeah.
So did you think of one? You had your list?
I didn't have my list. I couldn't find it. It might have been on my old phone. But I think, I used to have grandparents who would make me my costumes every year. So I've got a couple from then, and then I have a couple from now. I've taken up the mantle and become a Halloween costumer for myself.
Sure, because my mom and dad would go
kind of ham
hard.
Yeah,
they would go hard on your Halloween costumes.
So I think from my youth, probably favorites are I did like a masquerade girl one year, and it was like a big red ball gown, like very like not Regency, that's not right. But
Marie Antoinette,
like, yes,
kind
very
of like
Marie
French,
Antoinette,
kind
French,
of like a very
big like fluffy petticoat underneath type of dress. And then I had like a mask on a stick. So I love that one because I'm a big fan of the opera girl. I suppose I wasn't then, but part of my love for it probably came from that. Love a masquerade ball. Then I really love. So then I'll jump to more modern times, and then I'll throw it back one more time. I love the WandaVision that I did last year.
That was good.
I think it was incredibly good, and I sourced all of those pieces kind of individually. And I'd like to do it again this year now that I have red hair for fall. And I have the right color boots. Last year, the only thing I couldn't find was the same red as the cape, the gloves, and the bodysuit. So I was like kicking myself because I was like, oh, this outfit looks so cute, but the boots are the wrong color. But I got the boots I wanted back in stock. I got the red ones, the proper red.
So before you go back to your last one, your third one, I doubt this is going to be the one you'll pick, but I'm going to throw in my honorable mention for one of my favorite costumes that you had. And I think it was middle school, but you'll remember probably better than I will. When you dressed as the other mother.
That is my choice.
Ah, nice. Okay, go for it.
Well, I guess you could have waited. But the other mother from Coraline is one of my favorite costumes that I've ever done. Because I think it was just sort of, one, unexpected for in middle school, a young girl to be like, you know what I want to be? No, it wasn't middle school. It was high school.
Yeah.
It was, I think, my
freshman year
because I went trick-or-treating with someone I was friends with in middle school with one of my new friends from high school. It was like Clash of the Worlds.
I just remember that being so perfect.
It was so good. The way my grandmother made the skirt was that it had the layered tiers like her dress. So there was like fluff underneath or like padding underneath each one so that the like skirt of her spider tail actually like popped out. The only thing I wish I still had, that costume definitely wouldn't fit me anymore. I'm taller and bustier than I was then as a child, but I would love to do that costume again because my biggest regret then was I didn't know shit about wigs. So I had like the silliest, cheapest, worst wig ever from like Halloween Plus.
But again, you're like 13.
Yes. But it otherwise is one of my like favorite costumes when I'm like, oh, I've done so many cool costumes.
I think I really liked it because of like the uniqueness of the character. Like you have like people are aware, but it's always like just like a little bit.
Oh, so my honorable mentions would be one I did lace Lady Gaga when she wore like an all lace outfit with like the crown. My grandmother made me a pretty cool costume for that. And then during COVID, I like kind of spur of the moment ordered a cosplay because my roommate had decided to throw like a very small Halloween party amongst like our friends who were kind of already in our bubble. And I was like, well, shit, I didn't get a costume because I wasn't planning on going anywhere, because we can't go anywhere because truly nothing was open. And I ended up kind of rush ordering a like season 2 Dolores from Westworld costume, and it looked amazing. And I went to Spirit Halloween and got like one of those like bullet slings, and then they were falling out like all night, like all over the place. And I think the other day when I was over at Chelsea, she was like, look what I found. And it was like another one of those like
little plastic bullets
from like my bullet thing from like 2 years ago. But I love like that Dolores, or I suppose Wyatt Dolores.
Sure.
That's again like another one where I'm like, I wish there were more holidays where you wore costumes. Well, maybe that's why I got into cosplay so much. But I'm like, oh, I still have that. I'd love to wear that again.
Sure. So. Well, there is something fun about like finding all of the pieces and then putting it all together and then like seeing it and being like, this looks so great. Your mother and I did a Roger and Jessica Rabbit look.
So good.
And doing kind of a modern, updated, almost like dapper version of a Roger Rabbit was super fun, because it's kind of like you think about, I'm going to do this idea, and then you start to look at options. And then when you start to really get into it, you're like, oh, I could do this, and I can do this instead of this. I'm going to get these gloves, or instead of gloves, I'm going to do wristbands.
Yeah.
So you can make it work. And, you're like, okay, what can I do for ears, and what can I do for a tie? And like, oh, I can't find a huge oversized bow tie, but like, let's do it this way. So no, I think that's super fun. I mean, I will say my honorable mention for like one of the costumes. I am actually one of those kids who, because of my childhood, because I used to dance and I would be in the Nutcracker, all of our practices and our rehearsals took place in October, because the actual performances started in November, because it's a Christmas ballet. But because of that, the end of October, I almost always missed Halloween. Like, unless it happened on a weekend, for sure, I still had practice, because they would obviously want kids practicing on the weekends. We would be practicing all day. So multiple years, I was literally a ghost, where my mother just cut 3 little shitty holes in a sheet, like an old sheet, and then weirdly like put a noose around my neck. Or like, at least like if you look if you look at the pictures, there's definitely like
we'll post one on socials.
There's definitely like a picture of me where it's cinched a little bit around my neck, so it's not just like draped over me, like a Ghost Story, the A24 film. It looks like, I'm like, wait a second. Like when I look at that picture, I was like, was this safe?
Probably not.
But like, no,
it wouldn't be sanctioned these days.
But we also trick-or-treated at night in the city, like in Boston, like in the middle of like, it was like 9:00 at night, and you're just running around in the dark. And I don't remember us having like flashlights. It was just like running across streets left and right. So
all right.
Different times.
Shall we go through the top 2022 costumes trending, and then decide whether we think they're yay or nay?
Yeah, let's go rapid fire.
And then we can wrap it up.
Let's go rapid fire. What do we got?
Okay, Ladies of Bridgerton.
I think this goes back to your kind of somebody who really wants to wear like a big dress and really do it all up. I think if you're going to go to a fancier costume party,
yes,
great. If you're bar hopping, maybe too much.
Well, but here's the thing. I actually think this is the queen of lazy costumes, potentially, for like the girlies. And here's the thing. They could be really cool. They could be really good. Or it could be like people where I've seen them going to like the Bridgerton ball, and it's just like a slip dress with like a ribbon, and I'm like, that's boring.
Sure, like the main girl character.
Yes. How often do you get to go to like a ball? Like
you want to be like the queen.
I want to see the jewels. I want to see the ribbons all over the place. I want to see the gloves.
So you want it at a 12. If it's not at a 12, you don't want to see it.
Well, personally, yes. Right. Okay. I will think it's cute, probably regardless, because I don't think you can go wrong. But I think for me to be a winner.
Okay. Next one.
11 from Stranger Things, especially if it's this new season.
No, And I think everybody's just going to do the old version, right?
But that's the thing.
I think
yeah.
everybody's just going to
Pink
do
dress,
the pink dress, Eggo
waffles,
waffles,
bloody
jean
nose.
jacket. Like, no, I feel like it. I
It's
feel like
a
it.
cute costume, but for me, I think it. Look, the new season of Stranger Things drew me back in. I'm very interested
Yes.
in seeing how it ends. However,
Be Max.
I think it's played out. Oh,
I think
sure.
I think be possessed Max.
That's pretty good.
Rather than 11.
Yeah, or be
Or do 11 in the sensory.
do Vecna.
Sure. Well, I mean that's going to be that's some effort.
I'm saying do Vecna. Show me some effort. Squid Games.
No.
I think it's done.
It's done for
it's
now.
back.
It's done for now.
It should be.
When they bring it back, they're obviously probably going to update what the guards and stuff are wearing. So whatever that is, then that can be a costume again. But no, Squid Games is done.
I agree. Top Gun.
Top Gun
the
Maverick.
New one.
I mean,
But I feel like that's a lazy costume.
I was
You're
just about to say
putting
it's
on, like,
lazy.
a flight jumpsuit.
Right,
And
and
you're
a-
like,
and a-
damn.
and a pair of like aviator
Aviators.
sunglasses. Yeah. I think no.
So no from me.
I think it's boring.
Ted Lasso.
I think this is again like lazy white guy. I think this is lazy white guy who just wants an excuse to grow a mustache.
Yes, I think it. Here's the thing. I think it's. I mean, I'm not super into Ted Lasso, so maybe I shouldn't speak on it. But I think it's cute if you get like a whole group in on it. Like if you have like a whole group to do like costumes. in it,
Sure.
like characters from the show.
Sure,
Like
you
multiple
could-
of you are multiple characters.
The
I
one-
think that's
right.
more fun.
Right, you could do like the woman. Somebody you could be the owner, like the tall, because it's like a tall blonde woman.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso, obviously, it's like basically a tracksuit. Here's the thing: I have a friend, Matt, who I would love to see dressed as Ted Lasso, specifically because I think it'd be hilarious to see him with a mustache.
Sure.
But I wouldn't want him to. I wouldn't want like a cheat. I wouldn't want like a fake mustache.
Like a
Like
real one.
Matt Arneson, grow a mustache, and let's
talk
see
about
let's see this.
All right. Hocus Pocus.
See, now this goes back to like where I'm saying no to Maverick and I'm saying no to Stranger Things unless you really do something unique. Like this one makes sense to me, like the Hocus
it's coming
Pocus.
back, and they updated all of the three witches' costumes,
Right.
so there's something new to be done with them. It's not just like. Here's the thing.
It's not a reboot. There is nostalgia.
The cool thing about their three costumes is even if you're buying like a pre-made one, you can't really be lazy with it. Like,
No,
do
'cause you
know what I
have
mean?
to do the makeup.
It's kind of
You
hard
probably
to be
have to do a
lazy
wig.
with any of them. Maybe Sarah Jessica Parker's is the one you could be most lazy with, but the other two especially have like
the teased up hair,
big hair, big makeup, nails. So I think it's
Have you
like,
seen the first Hocus Pocus?
I have seen the first Hocus Pocus.
Your mother and I were talking about this the other day. Like I've never seen the first one.
Yes, it was one of those movies that when I was studying to be cool in college.
You felt like you needed to do it?
Yes, and then I watched all the High School Musicals, and then I watched all of like the classic rom-coms, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 10 Things I Hate About You.
So you could get in on the conversations.
I was like, just in case these come up, I need everyone to know I'm cool.
Okay, these next ones are probably going to be pretty quick. Kylo Ren. No.
Well, if somebody like one of my old coworkers like 3D prints his like costumes and stuff and like really goes all in on the details, yes. Like so kind of the same thing with like Mandalorian.
I guess if you're gonna do
Yes,
Kylo,
if
you're gonna do
going to
Kylo
do
Ren,
it-
but then you're gonna need other reasons
Are you
to
gonna do
wear
it, or
that.
you're just gonna wear a plastic mask? That's boring. But if you go all in,
I feel like that's not.
exciting.
I feel like that's not Halloween. I feel like that then goes back to your cosplay thing of like this is something that I'm
But
going to do
it's
routinely.
a Venn diagram.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Duh.
It's probably your gateway. Halloween is your gateway
It
into
is.
cosplay.
Harry Potter.
I just want to see a lot of Hagrids this year.
R.I.P. King.
R.I.P. Robbie Coltrane.
Here's the thing about Harry Potter is that I feel like people just buy their like
Scarf
cape
and a cape.
the color of their house, and they're like, "I'm a wizard," and I'm like, "Okay." It's fine to me if people are lazy on Halloween, but people always get defensive when you like call out their lazy costumes, and I'm like, it's not my fault that you're boring.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
Yeah, we
Okay.
saw a lot of lazy costumes.
Always. Flo from Progressive Insurance.
I don't even want to talk about this one. This is stupid to me.
Okay, well, I will say I do think. Here's the thing: it being on that trending list is funny to me because I don't think I've ever seen somebody dress up as her.
Right.
So I feel like if I saw somebody dress up as like her and then like a Jake from State Farm, That's objectively funny.
I have
and like
seen
somebody's the Geico lizard.
well
There
somebody
you go, group costume for somebody.
well, and don't forget. So my favorite one in that group,
General.
well, not the General, Mayhem,
Oh, him too.
the guy who always
If
looks
somebody
like
did a group costume as
all
the
of those.
insurance, that's funny.
That okay, but that's now
I
you're
know that's
now you're
not,
going
But I'm saying when I think of Flo from Progressive,
right.
if I actually saw somebody doing
You want
that,
them all
here's the thing,
together.
If I saw somebody out at the bar doing that, I would probably go be like, "That's pretty funny."
I would lose
Good
my
job.
I would lose my mind if you were at a bar and you saw Flo, Mayhem, Jake from State Farm, a guy in like a red polo and khakis, and then there's a guy dressed like a fucking general at the end, just a mustache with like the helmet down over his
That's what I'm
eyes.
saying.
That
Damn,
I would
I
love.
thought of that earlier.
Now
'cause
that
I would
sounds
have
like
bullied
a
my
good
friend group
idea.
into doing that. That's pretty funny.
Next year.
And then inventing Anna.
See, I'm aware of this. I don't
This
know.
is another one I think is lazy. I think this is like I see a lot of these TikToks that are like cool girl Halloween costumes, and then they
You'd be
proceed
fucking
to be
explaining it the
most
entire time.
Well, and here's the thing. Last year when I was Wanda from WandaVision, I had to tell a lot of people who I was. And sometimes people were like, "Oh, you're Scarlet Witch. Good, cute."
Right.
And then other people were like, "Who are you?" And so here's the thing. I'm somebody who is like, I look good, so if I have to explain my costume, that's fine to me. But to be something boring and then be like, I'm the girl from Inventing Anna.
Right, I'm just a person from a show.
I'm just a person. You're a real person?
You're a real person who dresses
I
and
think that's
pretends
kinda
to be someone.
boring.
Yeah. So
Again, uninspired.
and then the last one is superheroes, which again,
If they look good.
if they look good. That's
Here's
it.
the thing. Here's the thing. For superheroes, and this is just a hack, so anybody listening, if you just want to look hot on Halloween, get whatever iteration of Spider-Man you want to be. Just get one of those Spider-Man morph suits. They literally have like the muscle lines built into them for men and for women. You just want to look hot, get one of those.
Easy.
Because all the other costumes are like, the cheap ones look bad. But if you want to look hot,
Spend $100 and get one of the decent.
not even that, you don't have to spend that much. You're like $50 on Amazon.
There you go.
Anyway, so those are our kind of Halloween thoughts, our rankings, our opinions, costumes, candy, and more. Happy haunts abound.
Indeed.
If you're listening to this before Halloween, happy Halloween. It's coming up here so soon. Be safe. Check your candy for razor blades.
That's a thing. It's
Allegedly.
It is still a thing. I feel like it's more a thing now than when I was a
Allegedly.
kid. Allegedly.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will.
You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, probably. And you can find us on social media at FatherDaughterEXP. Follow us there, TikTok. Now we have a Twitter. We haven't posted there yet, but we have one. And we have a Gmail, fatherdaughterexperience@gmail.com, if you'd like to send us some thoughts, opinions, or episode ideas.
Bye.
Bye.